Coming up on the Broadway Shuffle, we react to Texas Tech's win against Drake. For the fourth time in 7 years, Texas Tech is advancing to the Sweet 16. We discuss that and much more next on the Broadway Shuffle. Episode 65 of the Broadway Shuffle. Texas Tech, fresh off of a victory against Drake, 77-64. We've got Zyler, Clayton, and Conrad here to react to Texas Tech taking care of business against the Drake Bulldogs and advancing to their fourth Sweet 16 since 2018. What a run it's been over the course of the last 7 years for the Red Raiders. We've got a lot to get into, and we'll quickly look ahead to the Arkansas matchup on Thursday night, though we will have plenty of episodes coming up Tuesday and Thursday, I believe, as well, getting ready for that game. So make sure to like this video and subscribe on YouTube or follow along on Spotify or Apple so you never miss an episode. Zyler, dude, going to you first, man. I don't know who we want to start with. Darian Williams, JT Toppin, or Elijah Hawkins. Those guys, unbelievable tonight. Carried you unstoppable in the post. Z, thoughts on the overall offensive performances from mainly JT and Darian, and then, kind of initial reaction to what you thought Texas Tech was able to do well to knock off Drake?
Yeah, I mean, huge games from JT. I mean, I want to talk specifically. You're not going to be able to duplicate this performance against Arkansas. Drake didn't have the size, and we clearly had watched enough film and said, listen, we're not going to be able to do the UNC Wilmington thing where we just rain down threes because you've got all these big dudes in the middle. Just an excellent performance from JT. He was great getting to his spots. He wasn't trying to force the three ball. He was making free throws. Elijah was excellent too. Man, just really hats off to all three of those guys. I thought they played excellent. I thought the game plan was perfect pretty much, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I thought we did an excellent job. Great job by Grant and staff. They prepared a game plan, and we talked about this on the last episode. I trusted our guys more to get a really good game plan together for Drake more than I trusted them. And I think, to Drake's credit, we have better players than they do, so we do get a little bit of an advantage there. But hat tip to Grant and staff, Elijah, JT, Darian. Darian, when he's fully healthy, just really is a game changer, and I was glad to see Darian back to form tonight. So thought it was a great effort by all three of those guys.
Yeah, needed performance, Conrad. And you just survived. You found a way. Drake was able to hang in there for a good portion of most of the game, really, until the last 7-8 minutes of that second half. But you kept just imposing your will on a team, and the ability to win in multiple ways. We saw it against UNC Wilmington, 44 threes, school record. Against Drake, it was like, hey, let's not shoot any threes and let's just take care of what we know to. That is something that wins games in March. So your reaction to how Texas Tech was able to shift their identity just in 2 games and kind of become a chameleon in a way when it comes to offensive ability to beat opponents.
Yeah, that's the mark of a good team, right? Being able to win in different ways. And that you saw that tonight as versus the UNC Wilmington game. But the fact that we're 2-0 in this tournament heading to the Sweet 16 against Arkansas is a big deal for the Red Raiders. And I think I have not watched every game of this tournament, but seeing 2 drastically different styles of play really and truly from the Red Raiders in versus round 1 to round 2 speaks well to what your staff is and what your coaching staff can do. I think we've already beaten that drum that they're a fantastic coaching staff, but looking even at how we won by 10 in the first round and then by 13 in the second round. I mean, you're not playing necessarily the same type of basketball you saw in Big 12 play night in and night out. You're playing different basketball a little bit, but you're playing different teams. And so they're not built the same way Big 12 basketball teams are. And so it's a really encouraging thing to see that we are, while maybe not as pretty in some aspects, we are winning games and we're winning them pretty handily as you would expect. So really encouraged by what we saw tonight from the Red Raiders, and then also a couple days ago against UNC Wilmington as well.
Yeah, Clay, I'm looking at the box score here, or the team comparison. You shoot 53% from the field, only 14% from three-point line, 86% from the free throw line, and only 3 turnovers. So though you felt like you only had 3 of the main guys really produce, as a team overall, you still shot the ball well from the 2-point range. Obviously did not take the as many 3-pointers as you did against UNC Wilmington. Then you also limited turnovers against the team, so you were able to minimize Drake's possession. So what are your thoughts on how Texas Tech was able to just really control this game, and even when they're not shooting the 3 well?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think Drake was lucky that this game was as close as it was. We were 1 of 14 for three at one point, and Abreu from them was started out 5 of 6 from three. If those things go like the season averages, then the game's probably much more of a blowout than it was. But I think the game plan was perfect. Like Zyler said, our coaches knew that they didn't have anyone for D5 or top and down low, and we just force fed the ball down to them until they stopped it, and they really never stopped it all game. And then defensively, I thought the game plan was even better than the offense. I mean, you basically didn't guard 2 of the guys on the court, and you weren't overhelping. You were just making guys beat you one-on-one, and a lot of their baskets were whenever guys stepped up and helped. They had some good cuts. And we left Abreu open probably more times than the coaches wanted to, but I thought the defensive game plan was genius. And then Hawkins, Darion, and Toppin just played out of their minds.
Yeah, Zyler, when you're looking at what this means moving forward, I want to hit on Christian Anderson a little bit. Again, I know we talked about him in our reaction to the Wilmington win. He's obviously kind of going through a little funk, and freshman players have this happen often, and we almost didn't really see this happen to him much during the regular season, which is a testament to his skill. And it's, he did hit a big one late, and he's still being aggressive. And I love the fact that he's still shooting. But without Chance McMillan against Arkansas, who's now playing the best basketball of the year, you're going to need Christian and Kevin Overton and Federico and Kerwin. You're not going to win many games against the remaining field playing 3-on-5.
Yeah. I don't know. This may have just been the angle. This may have been something. Did it look like he was putting more arc on his 3-point shots than normal? I don't know if that was just me. I felt like his shot looked different. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, I mean, tough for a freshman. That's kind of what you expect that a little bit. Like, games get way tighter. It's not flowing as freely. The possessions are way more important. Everybody's locked in defensively. Nobody's taking plays off. That's just kind of the lumps that come with being a freshman, but you are going to need more. Arkansas is not going to let you just do the top end Darian show and just let you score a ton of points inside. They're big. I mean, they're going to have really athletic guys. They've got really talented guys. You're going to have some great defensive efforts individually on the outside, but offensively, I think you're going to need to, you can't shoot under 20% from three and expect to win any games. Now, this is just me being superstitious. I'm glad we got the regression monster out of the way. We talked about that a little bit at the end of the season, but you've now had games under 30% and under 20% from three, and your opponents are shooting above, like 38%. I'm glad that kind of switched. So now we can balance back out to even. I know that doesn't technically mean anything, but you were due for some regression there. But yeah, I'm not super worried about Christian. He's still taking good shots. He's not turning the ball over. He's not making mistakes that are just really hurting your team. He's just missing shots, and that's, you got to shoot your way out of that. And I trust the staff to get him right, and that he's going to make good decisions down the line.
Yeah, and that's part of shooting threes and being a basketball player. You're going to go through some funks at time, and you're going to struggle to shoot at times. I think a good thing is that you do have 4 days off, right? So you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to kind of get in the gym, figure out if he is adding a little extra arc or if he's if something's going on there. But I'm more concerned with the production outside of JT and Darion, and even and obviously Elijah played fantastic today too, because you're going to need guys to step up at times. And without Chance McMillan, it's like you got through and survived what you needed to when you were able to beat a 14 and 11 seed. And now you get a 10 seed. I know Arkansas is good, but this was a team that was on the bubble for much of the second half of the season, and they are a 10 seed. So if you're playing teams that you should beat, but you need to be able to have depth to beat Florida, UConn, Auburn, Michigan State, whoever it is that you might play in the Elite Eight or Final Four. So I'm just, I'm very happy. I don't want to take anything away from what this team's able to accomplish. Making the Sweet 16 is not easy. Very few teams get to celebrate that 4 times in 7 years. But, to look at winning a championship, which is what we're here to do, you're going to need more production outside of what you're currently getting from some of those depth pieces. Anyone agree, disagree? Conrad, I know.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Zyler.
One thing, I don't know that you were looking for KO or Kerwin or Christian to really score a ton in this game. Like, I don't think the game plan clearly was not devised around them. It was Darian and JT go do this. So I'm not too bummed about Kerwin's output. we know he can shoot the ball. The thing that really bothers me is that Chance McMillan would be the perfect complement to that grouping right there. If he's in there, he's just such a reliable 3-point shooter, and he can create off the bounce in a way that Darian and JT can't really. Like, he can take you straight up. Darian and JT are going to be post-ups. Chance can create off the bounce probably better than anybody on the team when it's faced up. That's the thing that's really I'm bummed for him. It looks like definitely didn't play today. I hope that you get him back, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to be likely. But
Yeah,
man, he would be nice to have.
Clay, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I think that's fair, but at the same time, like, Kerwin scored 27 yesterday, so it's not like you're scared that these guys can't do it. And I agree with you, like, to beat Florida, we'd have to play almost perfectly, but you could say that about pretty much any team in the country.
Yeah.
And specifically that's looking ahead, but to Arkansas, yeah, we're going to need different guys to contribute, but I think that will be more within the flow of the game and the game plan. Like, we're not just going to throw the ball down to Top and Darion and just let them go one-on-one with their guys against Arkansas, because they have the athletes to defend them. So but yeah, I mean, without Chance, it's going to be a tall task, no matter who we play, but I have confidence in our team, and specifically in Christian and Kerwin, that they can step up when needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game plans for these first two games were absolutely perfect, and I don't want anyone to hear me saying that they weren't. I think, Brennan, I agree with you in the sense of looking forward to Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas, beating the two teams they beat, now being in the Sweet 16. I mean, we know the talent that they've had even from the offseason. I think Brennan's point, and I would agree with him, was just that if you want to do anything serious, if you want to make some noise, if you want to get to the Elite Eight and the Final Four, you just got to have more than 5 from Christian, and you've got to have more than 0 from Kerwin, and KO has to do more than score 1 point. I get that that's not necessarily the game plan. I'm just saying, looking ahead already to Arkansas on Thursday, you're just going to need more from everybody. And I would think that it would be maybe a more balanced attack against Arkansas, because like Zyler said, like Clayton said, you guys all said it, you're not going to be able to throw the ball down to Top end at D5. And so I just think we need more. We didn't these first two games because of how the game plans were, because of the matchup and how they worked out. But at the same time, if you want to go deeper and deeper into this tournament, you're going to need more production from those guys on a consistent night in, night out basis. I don't know if you guys disagree, but I would agree with Brennan there, because we were talking about a little bit before we started on tonight.
One thing I will say that I've been really impressed with, especially the last 10 games. I know Christian's been bad offensively the last 2. He's really stepped up on the defensive side. He took Bennett that's half the game is defense. And I know he didn't have any steals, I don't think. And I don't think he had a huge night on the glass, but he's been impressive. He doesn't lose many assignments. He's locked in on the game plan. I think that's really nice. And then Kerwin, how many times at the beginning of the season was it, Kerwin was making a crucial error and letting a backdoor cut go in, and he's getting yanked. I didn't really notice him at all defensively tonight. And I think that's a good thing.
And that's a great point, Z. And that's fair. I think maybe the Christian thing is more of a you're spoiled by riches type thing, where we saw him be so good all year, and then it's kind of like, man, what's going on with Christian? Like, because it's like in 2019, for example, with Kyler Edwards, he kind of shined in March and didn't really do much during the season a ton. You're like, man, this guy, Kyler Edwards, like going off against Michigan State, hitting big shots in the championship game. And it's like, it's kind of the opposite. What if Christian hadn't done much, but was slowly progressing and then was going off now, it'd be more of this is great. This is gravy. But he's been such a great asset to your team all the way through. Yeah. I'm just saying you need him, and I'm not taking away anything. Yep. Look, if D5 and JT Toppin are able to go against Arkansas and do what they did this game as well and just bully them, then by all means, dude, like, you go ahead, go drop 53 points combined on 22 of 31 shooting, and 8 of 9 from the free throw line. I will sign up for that any day of the week, and I am not complaining about that performance. It was phenomenal. And dude, one thing we need to touch on too is Darion Williams and his toughness. I mean, this guy, I know we've kind of been questioning something about, like, man, he's always kind of sitting out. There's been some rumors, some games, but like, this guy is struggling, obviously. Like, he looked as healthy as he's been, gets a little banged up there when he gets tangled up, runs off to the locker room, comes back in, and is still just dominating. And, it didn't phase him. And that was just such a gutty performance by him when you needed it. Just unstoppable. 25 and 12 from JT and 28 and 6 from Darion, with 5 assists included. And then Elijah Hawkins, 16 and 7. What can you say about what he's been to your team? Everything you hoped you'd get in JT and Elijah, for this season you have gotten, and it is, and then some. It's been an A+, and so credit to Grant and the staff and what these guys have been able to do. But now that I'm so excited and just looking ahead, I just man, I want Christian and I need KO to hit some big bucket. Yeah,
dude. Yeah. JT and Darian scored 53 points on 27 shots. That is insane.
Yeah,
that is incredible efficiency.
And then if you look, if you want to go to Elijah, 10 of 11 from the free throw line, and he only took 6 shots. Now he missed his 2 3-pointers, but he was so effective off the dribble as well. You could see how he was able to control the pace too. And this is something where last year, right, with Joe and Pop, we were like, please don't turn it over. With Elijah, you almost never have to worry about that. It's I know he had 0 turnover. Did he have 0 turnovers? 0 turnovers tonight. So. And that's in 38 minutes of play with the ball in your hand every possession.
Yeah, played the whole game. I mean, truly, I think he is, JT and Darian just fill up the box score, but what a player. I mean, he has not gotten enough flowers from us. I mean, hand up, I just have not complimented him enough because the scoring gets so much credit. Chance and Christian and Darian and Toppin, but Elijah's the one getting him the ball a lot of the time, and really, really impressed with him and how the team is utilizing him. It's just been awesome. And, one thing I want to say, it's so fun to be in the Sweet 16. There are plenty of, I've said this a ton of times, not everybody gets to enjoy this. Man, it's awesome. Congrats to that team. Congrats to those players. That is a ton of hard work. And shout out to Drake too. I thought they ran a lot of really good stuff. I thought they kind of put you in some tough spots. And when they got up by 6 in the first half, I was like, oh my gosh, not this again. It was exactly how the Missouri game kind of played out. And you responded, but they're well coached. I think Ben McCollum will probably be roaming the sidelines on another Power 5 school next year. But yeah, man, just incredible job by the staff this year. You can only play the teams in front of you. I know you beat a 14 and an 11 seed. Now you're going to get to play a 10 seed, but well done for the team. It's so fun. It's so awesome. And, if you didn't, 10 years ago, we had one Sweet 16 or something like very few trips here. And now we've gotten 4 in the last 7 years. That's incredible. So what a fun time to be a Tech fan.
Yeah. And to y'all were mentioning turnovers. We had 5 total turnovers tonight and 7 against UNC Wilmington. So this team total in the tournament, 13 turnovers. I mean, I don't know who's, I don't know who has the least amount of turnovers, but I would assume we'd be in the conversation for that because that's such a big deal. These guys are taking care of the ball. And like Zyler said, just a good time to be a Tech fan, but wanted to make sure to mention that we do have 13 turnovers the entire tournament. And that is very, very minimal.
I think he only had 3 turnovers tonight, unless I'm looking at a wrong box score. I think
you're looking at it wrong.
You had 2 team turnovers that didn't get assigned to an individual. So you had 5.
Okay.
You had 5, yeah.
So 3 individual turnovers.
I'm just reading what ESPN tells me, Brennan.
Hey, well, Yahoo's a bunch of morons, and I don't know why I'm on Yahoo Sports.
Hey, while we're here, on a random note, we had a listener reach out to Brennan and I and said he's been tuning into our show from Dubai, and he's been staying up way too late to watch us. So shout out to the shufflers that are international. We appreciate you. We see you, and we respect you.
We're picking them up day by day, man. They're watching it all over the world now. It's awesome. Clay,
should the Broadway Shuffle take a trip to Dubai?
I've promised that listener that I would go at some point. Yep. So if you guys want to tag along, by all means, feel free to join. So
that would be so funny,
dude. We have to
Broadway Shuffle live from Dubai.
No, the Broadway Shuffle takes Dubai. I'm here for it.
I want to see Brennan on a camel.
That would be pretty interesting. Dude, I don't know. I'd be kind of scared to get on a camel. I feel like it'd be my luck for me to get bucked off or something. Can camels buck you off? I don't even know. Probably not.
We put on YouTube though for the listeners.
Yeah, I'm gonna look YouTube it up. Clay, to close it up here before we get to Arkansas, before when we'll be back as well. So we're going to release this episode. Obviously you're listening on Sunday. We won't have an episode Monday, but we'll record Monday night, drop that Tuesday morning. And then we'll be there for a live reaction Thursday night after the Sweet 16 against Arkansas as well. And then reacting to everything coming up to that point as well. Hopefully an Elite 8 win too. So Clay, to close the show, I just wanted to ask you about this. Obviously Texas Tech, what they've been able to do, we've kind of been spoiled a little bit, but this team has something special about it. Grant McCasland has been, such a great coach to your pro. 50 wins for Grant McCasland. Just kind of taking this in on what this season has been. And I think we'd be remiss not to just really appreciate where we are at. And like Zyler was mentioning, not a lot of teams get to experience this often.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite part about this team in this run now that they were making another march, another special march for just the Texas Tech and Red Raider community?
Dude, I mean, seeing a Texas Tech team with like this kind of offense is just so special. Like, not to take anything away from like the Beard Adams era, but we just got used to like grinding teams down and just playing defense, and to have one of the best offenses in the country, and like you have so many guys who can just hit shots. That's been really fun to watch, and like something that we haven't had a lot at Tech throughout the years. And then also just like the high level players, like Darion almost coming or almost 30 today, JT Toppin, second team All-American. Like, it's been so fun to watch them. And then of course, Hawkins and Chance. I feel for Chance that he's not a part of the March run because he was such a huge part of the team. Hopefully we could potentially get him back next weekend. I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, just watching, I never thought that Tech would have a top 5 offense, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, it genuinely is a top 5 in efficiency on KenPom. So that's been my favorite part, is just watching that.
Yeah, it's great. And Z, I guess one thing too that just popped in mind is you're getting a 14 and 11 and a 10 for an opportunity to play into the Elite Eight. And I know Arkansas is not your average 10, and they're an SEC team. And now we get this is the Greg Sankey game for us. We don't get these very often as the Greg Sankey number 1 hate club here, but now we get that SEC matchup. But if any other, people might discredit us if we end up getting to the Elite Eight. Like, if we end up playing Florida, it's like, well, here's the Texas Tech's path. But this is something that you don't get this opportunity very often to get. You don't have to face a Maryland in the Sweet 16. You don't have to face, an Arizona or someone. Like, you do get an Arkansas team that has kind of struggled a little bit up to this point, and you had a Drake team that just wasn't fit, and a UNC Wilmington that wasn't fit to be able to beat you. You don't get this lucky very often on March runs either. And I know Arkansas is not to be overlooked, but in terms of seeding alone, combined 35 is the number, between the 3 seeds that you'll have. That's a pretty fortunate draw that you're now getting as well. And sometimes you need that to make a championship run.
Yeah. And, the thing about that is that you earn the right to have that draw, by playing so well in the regular season. That's what you get. That's why you get to play a 14 seed to start out, because you played so well in the regular season. And yeah, not every 3 seed got to play the 11 seed. Wisconsin right now is down to BYU. And so that's kind of just a little bit luck of the draw. But, you got to take advantage of these opportunities, and you can only play the teams in front of you. That's you don't get to pick. That's the way the bracket's set up. You're not going to get to the Final Four, and you're not going to win the whole thing without having to beat good teams. There's just no way around that. Arkansas is a good team. This is not a slouch. They're not your typical 10 seed, very highly thought of initially, very talented. They've got more talent. They've got more money on that roster. They've got a Hall of Fame coach. It's going to be a 4 to 5 point spread. This is not going to be something where you're favored by 15. Like, expected dogfight. It's going to be a close game, and it should be. Arkansas is a good team. They've figured some stuff out. They've gotten healthier, and you're a good team as well. So
I love that we get John Calipari, man. Like this, I love the fact that we get this, because now it's going to be a bigger game too. Like, probably a larger, maybe the main CBS audience, so they'll probably end up wherever Duke's playing. But it's still something where it makes it bigger. Like, Arkansas is a big brand. Calipari's first year. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of like when you played Coach K and Duke, like you get a big time coach, one of the best coaches ever of this generation, and you get a chance to go beat him for a chance to win a championship. It's a great opportunity. It'll be a lot of fun. So, Conrad, any final thoughts?
Well, just on the coaching note, Coach McCasland is the fastest Red Raider coach ever to reach 50 wins. So while Calipari is definitely a Hall of Fame coach, I think we've got a pretty good one roaming the sidelines for the Red Raiders. So believing Grant, I think he's, maybe one day he's a Hall of Fame coach as well. But do want to mention as well, as we close the show, we did play Arkansas in a football bowl game. And unfortunately, we weren't able to take care of business there. But the most, I guess, maybe infamous moment of that bowl game from a Texas Tech fan perspective was when a man named Fernando Carmona stepped on our beloved CJ Baskerville. And so this is the CJ Baskerville revenge game for Texas Tech, looking at what we got to do on Thursday to take care of that, because if Arkansas, you never know with Arkansas, you never know what they've got stirring up in the water over there, and what they're gonna try and pull on the court on Thursday.
I like that, man. I like the CJ revenge game. We need it. I honestly forgot we played them in a bowl game. Like that bowl game's long gone since the transfer
portal. It didn't even happen.
It didn't even happen. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't even happen.
We didn't
Sorry
care about
it
it
up again, guys.
It's all right. Well, man, gentlemen, a lot of fun. Just happy to be able to see and enjoy another March run. This is it's so fun to get to do this, and I just cannot wait for Thursday. It'll be a blast. So we will be back on Tuesday morning as well to kind of go more into the Arkansas game and look over the bracket as a whole. For those of you that are in the bracket challenge, great job. We've got a lot of high brackets with Texas Tech being the champion. So you are still alive, and that could be a close race to the end. I unfortunately, humbly will admit that I had St. John's beating Texas Tech in the Sweet 16. So I am wrong, and I'm happy I'm wrong. I am thrilled, and I hope that I'll continue to be wrong. I did that to prove that I'm unbiased.
Real quick on St. John's, I know they won 30 games. That was one of the most fraudulent 2 seeds I've ever seen.
It was like Xavier several years back. It was like, dude.
They went an entire season where Baylor was the best team that they played, and they didn't even beat them. And, dude, Pitino, he's a great coach, but he panicked so bad in that game. Benching your best player for the final 5 minutes.
And what's the Sparrow, sir, the announcer on that game was just like complete Lapis. It was Lapis. He was like, "What are we doing?" I get the dude is struggling.
He drives me nuts. I cannot stand listening to him. Yes,
I love Lapis, dude. He is hilarious.
Dude, I cannot stand when announcers try to coach from the booth. It's like, brother, there's a reason you're up there. Stop trying to coach the team. It drives me nuts.
He was I've got his profile pulled up right here, man. He coached at Villanova for 9 years, and they didn't do anything, I guess. 280 and 237 all time. Not horrible, Steve Lapis. I like him. I like his voice. I think he's funny, but it's okay. Hopefully we don't have him, Z, for Thursday.
He just can't resist, coach. It's just like there's different ways to talk about that. Like, be questioning. Don't be yelling at Rick Pitino from the booth.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just such a weird.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But
yeah, that's just me. Anyways, we'll be back. You got anything on the St. John's? We didn't really touch on that. I'm just so
I had them losing to whoever came out of our region. Like, that was just not. I did not believe in that team.
I guess I did it to make sure it not feel as bad if my heart gets broken by Tech. I don't know. I was trying to outsmart the system, and you don't do that. You don't need to do that. Just go with your gut. That's what always That's why my mom's bracket is 99.8% correct, and mine's like 49%.
Insane,
I guess. So it's humbling.
Insane.
So there we go. Well, we'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll look in more of the Arkansas matchup and what they did against St. John's as well, too, to be able to beat them and ways we might be able to handle them on Thursday night. So a lot of fun, man. Celebrate this while you can. It's not often. Yep. I guess it is sometime often if you're 4 times in 7 years for Texas Tech to the Sweet 16. But we will see you guys Tuesday morning for Zyler, Clayton, and Conrad. I'm Brennan, and we will see y'all next time on the Broadway Shuffle. Wreck 'em.